Vosbúð or Vosbud. Vosbúð probably is the closer to real pronunciation of this one. It's an Icelandic band playing black metal. And this one is relatively new band and obviously rather new release, out since December 2019. Released by Wolfspell Records, this is one of those, say, more marginal type of black metal releases. But as it often is the case, Wolfspell Record, which is more or less specialized, creating atmospheric and so often melodic black metal, are out here with this Almannagjá release. This one is a two-man band, and to be honest, not much is to be told about this band, given that it's relatively unknown and relatively new. As you can see, no booklet whatsoever here, so let's tune in for Metal Archive's site to see the basic information about the band. Here is the very basic stuff, what is to be said. As you can most likely already see, this one is from 2019. So given that this album was already released during 2019, it's very fresh in that sense. Two members which go with rather unpronounceable names, and there is no listing what these guys have been up to previously. As you can see, it is just very minimal information, but given that the Icelandic scene is not the biggest of black metal scenes out in the world, I wouldn't be surprised if they was later on found some connections with some other bands, but that's just speculation obviously. Here on the site links we have the band's Bandcamp link, where you have cover art. Here, as you can see, rather vague. And obviously we have some of the more information regarding release, and of course you can pretty much just, listen to these tracks. And there you have it. This actually says it's released August 13, but it seems like the physical version came out a little bit later. That is, if not, I'm not mistaken. At least that's what it says here, that it was released in December in physical format and independent digital release already in August. 4 tracks, 31 minutes, and there you have it. What can I tell you about Vosbúð? Well, it's melodic, it's mid-tempo and fast-tempo, kind of a mixed together to create this kind of a more versatile approach in black metal, and it's also quite atmospheric. More importantly, it's quite good. Now, most Icelandic bands that I've got to hear in the past few years, they have been more or less this kind of a modern, what we usually call third wave black metal. That is more dissonant layers of varied kind of riffs, and sometimes even being very atypical when it comes to black metal, with all those riffs and these layers and layers upon each other, creating this kind of a chaotic output. Now, Vosbud style is more, I would say, rather traditional. It clearly doesn't sound like 1990s band, but more like some early 2000 something band. Because after all, even with its tempo changes and shifts, this melodic output is something that you might have heard with so many other Nordic bandies. Doesn't matter if it's from Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, you probably heard some similar stuff. I would say with this very melodic output, it's kind of a mix of these different countries and not so much Icelandic touch, if you will. That is not to say that bands couldn't go beyond borders and combine these different elements, but as we often know, certain scenes, local scenes, have this kind of a certain kind of sound and feel when it comes to the music. Now, Vosbud is, in a kind of a way, is quite fresh in that approach. While it has these certain elements that you can just say, hey, this reminds me of this and that, still it sounds also a little bit original. And it's also worthwhile to mention these tempo changes, that they actually support the album being more versatile in Dutch. Now, being 31 minutes an album, well, it's kind of clear that you cannot get too quickly bored with, repeating patterns and all that stuff. So it's actually quite nice a combination. Not exactly an EP, but definitely not some 60-minute mammoth, which could be just kind of overwhelmingly boring after a while. That is, unless you have really, really good songs. Now, in my opinion, this debut album is only an inch away from being actual great, and I really cannot put my finger on it. The easy way would be to saying like, the songs are not that good. I mean, they are good, but are they great? Well, guess not. But that is not to say you shouldn't be listening to this one, because this is actually rather good. I mean, the sound could be always a little bit better, the melodies could be even more memorable, even more catchy and all that stuff. But given that this is the first album with a relatively new band, I would say rather nice debut album. So, in case you just happen to be after melodic and also atmospheric black metal, the Nordic style that is, you should be checking out Vosbúð or Vosbud. So, with these words, go check out those links, or that link, the Bandcamp link, and I hope you enjoy what you hear. Let me know what you think. See ya, take care.